Well, while April is Organ Donation Awareness Month, the need for organ donors is a year-round need. The Indiana Donor Network helps facilitate the process within our state. Joining me now with more information is family advocate Shelby Reed. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So we've heard three great stories already, and I know as a family advocate, you hear and you're a part of so many stories just like these, including your own father's donation. You're now a family advocate. Just share with our audience the journey that brought you to this point.
Yeah, it's quite a journey, so bear with me as I kind of tell you all the parts of our story, but I can kind of start from the beginning. I myself was in a role where I would work in hospitality and was very close with my family. We have a small farm and just spend a lot of time together. I have two wonderful siblings. I'm the oldest of three, and then I have my parents that have just raised all of us and kind of just been our biggest blessing and rocks through all of our childhood and then even into adult life. So we are very close. My mom and dad, they had gone on a vacation in July of 21, end of July of 21 together that they do every year with a group of friends. And unfortunately, while on that vacation, my dad suffered an injury, a traumatic injury to his brain, and he fought for his life. We fought for his life for many days at Deaconess Hospital, and unfortunately, he was not able to make it. And we were greeted in the face of a family advocate towards the end of his hospital stay, and with Indiana Donor Network, and she came to us and said, "We think that your dad can save lives through the gift of organ donation." And immediately my mom and my sister and I and more family members that were there, we couldn't believe, first of all, that this is the conversation we were having, but also started to give us a little bit of light in such a dark time that we thought, okay, something good can come of this. There's another family out there, much like us, over the last week that was just praying for a miracle. And our dad could be that miracle for them. So we slowly just kind of started that process with our family advocate. And we were supported through that. And my dad was able to gift and save 5 lives and multiple others through tissue donation as well. And that kind of just started my passion and our family's passion to tell his story. And then I thought there's got to be a way I can be even more involved, which started my pursuit to work for Indiana Donor Network. And when I saw the term family advocate and that role kind of come up, I thought, okay, that sounds like something, maybe I could do that exact same thing that family advocate did for us. Support these families through such a dark time, offer them that little bit of light, and honor their loved one as a hero like my dad was. So I started that journey not long after, and now I've been able to be with Indiana Donor Network for 2 years and supporting families during that whole time, and it's been truly a blessing.
And I feel like it gives you that unique perspective that you understand right where they're at. So what would you want families to know of potential donors when that time comes? What do they need to know, I guess, to be able to help facilitate the decision that the donor made and continue on? The biggest thing to know is that you will have somebody with you the entire process. They will be answering your questions, providing you with support. We even do memory making with family. There's been many times that I've sat bedside with grieving wives, mothers, siblings, and we just sit together and we maybe make handprints. We record, their loved one's heartbeat. So we do things like that. But just knowing that you will have that support person with you the whole time, just kind of guiding you through your loved one giving the gift of life. I know we saw with Lisa
Wells' story, Samantha, her daughter, has a teddy bear now that has her mother's heartbeat in it. And she even said that if for some reason something would happen to that, it can be replaced. They have it on file.
Yes,
What a special memento to give the family, the loved ones, to keep for their memory's sake.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that, and like our family, we have my dad's handprint sitting right on our mantle that they had made for us when we were still in the hospital. We have his heartbeat in a heartbeat bear, just as she does. And that bear, I had my little boy almost a year ago, and now I have, he unfortunately will never have got to meet my dad, his grandpa, but now I have this little heartbeat bear that growing up I'll be able to say, you know, this is Grandpa Trevor's heartbeat, and kind of just have that momentum too for him. So
I know in talking with the families that I've talked with, conversations like this can be hard. No one wants to think of the end of life, but how important is it that folks really consider being an organ donor?
Yeah, it's very important. These are really hard conversations to have with your loved ones. Nobody wants to think about losing, you know, your dad, your mom, your child. Nobody wants to have those, you know, thoughts, but it's so important to know what your loved one's wishes are. So I do encourage families, or even you as an individual, if you know that that's something that you would want to do, as far as giving the gift of life, you can register, and that automatically just allows your family that knowledge that, you know, this is what they want, we want to honor that, and just let us support you through that. There's a few different ways that you can register to be an organ donor. You can do it when you're at the BMV. You can say yes. You can also sign up on donatelifeindiana.org. You can also say yes when you're getting a hunting and fishing license. You can also say yes when you're applying for a professional license to work in the state of Indiana, and you can say yes on your health app or on your iPad or iPhone as well. Yeah. So really just having that already set in place. Of course, you know, hopefully we live long, healthy, beautiful lives with our families. But in the event that something does happen, taking that weight of that decision off your family's shoulders in those moments, I have seen that firsthand really help families start to be able to go through that grieving process and just be able to honor their person in that way.
Right. And not just registering yourself, but letting your family know that that is the decision you've made ahead of time can be very helpful.
Yes, yes. When we think about it, whatever brought us into the hospital, it could have been, you know, a long-term illness. It could have been something sudden or tragic. But if you're incapacitated and on a ventilator at that point when you're in the hospital, your family is making a lot of decisions, having a lot of really hard conversations with doctors. So there's a lot of heaviness while you're in the hospital. But if there's that one conversation that maybe you had prior to something, if something terrible were to happen, that you know, okay, my dad said I would want to be able to give the gift of life, and so right then you can just say, okay, we're ready to honor that.
Yeah, and if you think about it, the decision that your father made led to you being here today. What do you think he would say if he knew the path that you've taken now, that kind of honors his legacy even further on?
Yeah, gosh, that's a hard one. Of course, we wish every day he was here. So it's hard to say what he would say, but we hope that as a family and myself, every day we're just continuing to make him proud, you know, by being helpful to other families, showing kindness, and just truly just honoring his legacy and telling his story to hopefully other families can be supported like we were. And I know he'd feel good about, you know, my mom being taken care of so well and myself through the organization. So I think he'd want that for other families as well. So.
Absolutely. And it's so needed. And we appreciate all the work that you're doing and your father's donation that led you to this.
Thank you.
And again, we have all the information you need to find out about becoming an organ donor on our website, including the process for possibly becoming a living donor for Katrina Memring. Just visit our special section on vincentspbs.org, and maybe you can help give the gift of life.